My name is Charmaine Wilson. Just a few words to describe who I am. I believe that I'm dynamic. I am a woman of wisdom. I am a woman of excellence. I am very confident in who I am. I know who I am. I just love who I am. So that's a little description of who I am, who I would say I believe I am confidently. I am an advocate for marriage, relationships, just all things relationships. I just love to talk about whether relationships between friends or marriage more so. I see myself in that direction, standing up for wives, encouraging wives, and I just love this thing called marriage, and I'm excited about it and where God is taking me with it, and where my friends are encouraging me to go further into it, where I feel also very much comfortable in it as well. So I just love who we are as women, and this is just beautiful because this whole month we're celebrating Women History. So I'm celebrating me and I'm celebrating you. So the My Own Husband movement is something that I have been carrying for a while. It's an online community for wives, by wives. And I know a lot of people always, they question, why the name My Own Husband? But there's a scripture in the Bible that speaks about wives submitting to their own husbands. And I know that submission is a very touchy topic, but submission is what literally saved my marriage. It saved my life. It actually helped me to become a better person when I actually sat down and listened to what my husband had to say. We were going through a very tough time in our marriage where I felt like there were so many external influences that was not positively helping us. Went through a very difficult season in our marriage, and sometimes in marriage you're going through stuff, but it's not necessarily things related to you and your spouse. It's a lot of external things that either you or him, you have not guarded yourself against. And with that, I try to please everybody. So it's like, okay, I want to make sure I'm right with them as well as being right with him. And it was really stretching me thin. And instead of focusing on being a wife to him, I was just everything else. That didn't work for him very well. So I remember sitting down one day and reading my Bible and, just talking to God and being very upset with God as well at the same time. Because I couldn't understand what was really happening with my life and why he had allowed me to go through some things. And then I remember reading this scripture and then having a conversation with Darren, and he explained to me, I don't need you to be all these things. I need you to be Darren Wilson's wife. And I was like, what does that mean? I thought it was like a general thing. A wife is a wife all around, the same way everybody has to be the same. And then he broke that down for me and what he needed in a wife, what he needed in me. And I was like, everything you needed, sir, is who I am. And then I just started stripping myself of all these other attachments and stuff. And I realized that I became a better wife, a better person. I became very comfortable in marriage, and My Own Husband movement was birthed from that experience. And then slowly, as I began to talk more about my experience, for those of you who have been following me on Facebook, on my personal page, I used to talk a lot about my business in marriage. And that opened doors for me where wives were attracted, and they would send questions and ask me, how do you handle this and stuff like that. And my transparency and realness is what allowed them to really connect with me. And then I thought that was it, but then I couldn't sleep in a good way because I was just stirred with a lot of stuff. Like, I want to release something. I spoke to Darren about it, and this is how my husband was birthed. Like, why allow people to be attacking you, or I say attack because at some point it started to feel like I I'm not getting a break. Like everybody just come in directly, and I said, you know what? I am not the answer to anything or anybody. We need a community. There are many women, like-minded women. So let us all come together. Let's all voice our opinions. Let's all share our journey. And that's how my husband was started. It started as a Facebook page. On September 9, 2019, I was like, that's it, I'm done. It's gonna be a Facebook page. No. And as we were talking about leveling up this month, it leveled up. Then we launched our private Facebook group called My Own Husband, Better Wives for Better Lives. Woo woo. Follow us. We have almost 300 wives and wives to be in that group. I thought that was it. But then we leveled up again, and we have a more focused group as well, called the MOH Exclusive Access Group. So that group is very interesting. We are very intimately together, and we have a lot of informative sessions, one-on-one sessions. I do a lot of personal Wives Connect with them. So it's just like, okay, I know that we are called to the masses. But then there are a few that really need that personal one-on-one, and then I enjoy that. I really do, and I think what I enjoy the most is the success stories that come out of it, because that's my goal. How are we going to win in this situation? How are we going to actually become better? I have some people that just don't like me anymore. I mean, in a good way, because whenever I talk to them, it's always, I know what you're going to say, or I'm always looking for ways for them to actually do better for themselves, because sometimes we depend on a lot as wives on how well our husbands are to us, and then that determines how well we will be to him or others. So I think that God is calling us to become better around, like holistically. So whether or not your marriage works or not, or that you need to become a better person, a better wife, a better woman, and that is how I want to build women, build wives, become better. Where is the movement now? We can be found online as a movement. As I mentioned, we started out as an online community, but really and truly, MOH is almost in every conversation. It is on several platforms as well. I'm connected, and my network has allowed me to be connected to some amazing women, especially some wives that also have the same passion to empower wives. We are also there. We are also sharing platforms. MOH is, I believe, we haven't touched India, Asia as yet, but we are getting there. We've touched Africa, Europe, America, the Caribbean region, but we're getting there. I think it's going to be, I believe that we are going to literally touch wives everywhere. That has been something that I've been saying. I know that the pandemic is here and everybody seems to feel like this is it. I think that this is actually just the beginning for us. I think that the pandemic did not slow us down at all. It actually brought us closer as a community. And I believe that it's going to grow to the extent where I won't just be the face of MOH. I believe that we are going to have MOH representatives. We are going to have MOH headquarters. I believe we are going to literally have MOH counseling centers, outreach centers. The conferences are still going to happen. And like my friend said last night on one of our lives, that her husband told her he saw us as wives in a room, like about over 3,000 women, and us just carried on. And I was like, that is going to happen. It's definitely, it's going to happen. There's not going to be enough room in one auditorium for us. We are going to be in several cities. We are going to have to travel, and um, connect, even if it's virtually, we are going to do it. We are going to make it happen. We are going to grow. We are growing. And it's going to grow to the extent that I won't be able to carry it by myself. And I'm looking for wives that are like-minded, extremely passionate, and also other communities that we can also endorse, or partner with. I see that happening. I see us training wives to actually train wives. This is something that is dear to my heart, because we think that as the ring goes on, you automatically know how to be a wife, and that is not real. That is not true. Everything that I learned and discovered, and I learned from my husband as well. I learned from my other friends that are wives. I learned from reading books, and I learned from listening to podcasts and all these different things. And what I realized is that we have this thing in common, which is I had no idea what I was doing when I said I do. I thought it was just put a ring on it, dress up in a nice dress, and then we live happily ever after. And whether we want to admit it or not, that is the picture, the image you have in your mind. Until you wake up next to this man, you realize that he has morning breath.
And still wants a kiss.
And still wants a kiss. I'm like, no, sir. You gotta make breakfast. Life. It's life. And then he has his way of doing things. You have your way of doing things. Then there's in-laws, and then there's children, and then there's business. It's just a whole new life. Somebody needs to train us for it. Somebody needs to equip us for it. Somebody needs to empower us for this. Somebody needs to encourage us to remain in this. And that is what MOH will provide. So